Meanwhile, more breaking updates from Israel coming in that Israel is evacuating embassy staff throughout the Middle East. Yesterday, we had heard that it was evacuating embassy staff from Turkey. Now, we are hearing that Israel is evacuating embassy staff for safety and security reasons, even as the war rages on the Gaza Strip, that it is evacuating embassy staff from the entire Middle East. Even as the war rages on and Israel continues to launch airstrikes both on the northern front, where it is fighting fire from the Hezbollah in Lebanon along its border with Lebanon. It's also fighting continuously and attacking Hamas terror infrastructure in the Gaza Strip. And in latest news, the IDF and the Shin Bet eliminated an operative in the special force of the naval arm of the terrorist organization Hamas. But now, in view of the escalating situation that shows no signs of abating soon, it is evacuating embassy staff from the entire Middle East. And as we had told you earlier, it's not just the world that is divided by this war, the longest fought for some time now between Israel and Hamas and Hezbollah, but also one of the deadliest. And now Israel is evacuating its staff from areas around the Middle East. And we have our reporters on the ground who are reporting continuously on continuous missile strikes on both sides, on the side of the Hamas, which is not backing down despite the deadly turn that this war has taken, despite continuous and uncompromising attacks on the part of Israel. And now we're hearing that Israel is evacuating its embassy staff. It's a war that has divided not just the entire world, but the Arab world as well. And it shows no signs of being scaled down anytime soon. Meanwhile, Israel is evacuating its embassy staff from across various countries in the Middle East, even as the war continues to escalate. Joining me now from the front lines in Gaza is my colleague Alicia. Alicia, a very good morning to you. Here we are getting visuals of the deadly turn that this war is taking. It shows no signs of being scaled down despite world leaders holding so many hectic parleys. But now we are hearing that Israel is evacuating its embassy staff from across the Middle East. What are the details you have regarding this? Which are the countries from which it is evacuating its embassy staff? And when did this process begin, or has it been completed?
Well, as per the sources in the Israel embassy, which has mentioned that Israel is being evacuating embassy staff throughout Middle East, and Israel has already recalled its diplomat from Turkey as a security precaution. And this is a temporary measure which should be for the short term, is what we know. And the National Security Council late on Tuesday has taken a call over all the Israelis in Turkey to leave as soon as possible. Even Israel's foreign ministry is moving to evacuate diplomats from various countries in the Middle East amid threats to their safety due to the war with Hamas in the Gaza Strip. So this is the precautionary measure that has been taken over the meeting that happened last evening and on Tuesday evening. But now Israel is wanted to evacuate embassy staff throughout the Middle East, and they have already recalled its diplomat from Turkey as a security precaution. But as I mentioned, this is a temporary measure which should be for the short time.
Meanwhile, we are also hearing that Israel has put out an emergency helpline. What can you tell us about this? It is for Arab nations and for Arab nationals who are living in Israel. What is the reasoning behind it, and how is it working, if you have any details?
The embassy and of course they are been constantly working. We also know that the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is also having a meeting with the Israeli leaders as well as war cabinet meeting that has also been happened. Well, yes, there are helplines which has also been issued, but what we know that the main concern is of the people who want to be evacuated from the northern side of the Gaza Strip to the southern side. But they are not being able to move. Some of the reason is that the Hamas terrorists does not want the people to be evacuated because we know that the Hamas terrorist is taking a human chill. But it's Israel who has been taking a full precaution, which is why they are not into the ground invasion full-fledged as of now. And there soon will be a ground invasion that Israel is being completely ready, as the visuals that we have been also witnessing, whether it is the tanks, Markava artillery, which has already been moved toward the Gaza Strip, and IDF is also constantly making a continuous airstrike towards the Gaza Strip. But yes, they have been also waiting for the citizen who wanted to come back, and that is what even the Prime Minister Netanyahu has clearly mentioned, that there will be no humanitarian aid that is to be provided to the Hamas infrastructure, to those people until and unless the captives are being rescued. But there are constant retaliation is being done by the Israel Defense Force, because the latest update what we got that it is in response to the Hezbollah fire of anti-tank missile across the border throughout the day. The IDF has carried out a number of attacks against Hezbollah infrastructure, including observation posts. And in addition to this, IDF fighter just struck 3 terrorists who were attempting to launch anti-tank missile towards Israel. So there are continuously airstrikes, and IDF has been making a constant retaliation. They have been responding to this hostility by the Hamas terrorists, which the launch has been also been crossed from the Lebanon into Israel.
Many thanks, Alisha, for joining us there and for sharing those details. Alisha is on the front lines continuously, viewers, bringing you reports of what's happening, of the deadly strikes undertaken by Hamas on one side and by the IDF on the other, as it fights back against the terrorism of the Hamas.